I'm sorry, but this film is overrated. Dune Part 2 took the world by storm in 2024. Everyone was scrambling for the closest IMAX screening. It had a cast that would make audience members burst, and a popcorn bucket that could do the same. After the awe-inspiring epic that was Dune, I was hyped for Part 2. I will admit, and listen closely, I have not read the books, but that didn't stop me from getting very attached to the first movie. Dune Part 2, however, didn't do it for me. It was a spectacle, yes, but aside from every shot being a literal piece of art, and many battles of immense scale and creativity, there is a huge problem with what to me is the most important part in any movie: the characters. Part 2 prioritizes huge set pieces, action sequences, and world building over meaningful character development. Aside from its flawless visuals, the characters remain stagnant, inconsistent, or one-dimensional. And Paul Atreides? Well, he takes on a couple of these qualities. Besides his name, Paul never changes. He starts with almost the exact same motivations and abilities that he ends with. The only difference? He's a bit more powerful and a lot more worshipped. Early on, Paul and his mom, Jessica, are talking. Paul says he can use the Lisan al-Gaib title to gain a following and then take revenge against the Emperor. Jessica mentions that his father wouldn't have done the same, but Paul doesn't care. He doesn't mention his father's would-be position for the rest of the film. His mind is made up. So, from the beginning, Paul takes a stance on the whole chosen one situation. By the end, he's fully feeding into it. He never actually shifted his thinking at all. He was always going to be right, and he was always going to become what the Fremen wanted him to be. For some reason, they tried to make us think that he wasn't. Chani's whole character is just forcing a question down our throats that we already got answered in the first few scenes. But I'll get into that in a bit. All I'm saying is, every opportunity Paul has to change, he stays virtually the same. Even when he finds out he's a Harkonnen, nothing changes. Besides some stronger one-liners, I guess.
I'm happy to finally meet you, cousin.
Then in the Fremen training, Paul is already good at desert survival. And this is all because of a book he read? Every tough situation he's put in, he's way more skilled than he should be. Fremen survival, desert battle strategy, and of course, sandworm riding. Half of the training sequence just feels like a formality. Every task he completes just makes the prophecy more likely. It's a hell of a way to build an army. God damn, it's making me believe. The prophecy seems more and more likely, even though we're told the Bene Gesserits made it up. Apparently critics say that Paul's transformation happened too rapidly. I think it was just more of the same. Somehow, even when Paul drinks the water of life, the dude is still just convinced to ramp up what he was already doing. He gets generations of memories and doesn't change his thought process. You know, this seems like a good time to talk about the water of life. The water of life is a character killer. Oh, I guess it's a character creator too. Hello, Anya Taylor-Joy. Jessica's transformation into the Reverend Mother is just sad. She goes from a loving mother with a dark side to a soulless body with zero emotional depth. And she could have had so much. Jessica is getting messages from her unborn child, but instead of internal conflict, she just follows her child's commands without question. I don't know, man. I might take a step back if I thought that my unborn baby was speaking to me. I guess I'll give the movie credit, though, because unlike Paul, she does at least change. At first, she's talking Paul out of revenge. By the end, she's fanning the flames of her son's legend. The problem is, she switches up in one scene. The mother-son dynamic gets so boring, too. Nothing is actually talked out, ever, and Paul is not nearly considerate enough for his mother. She completely loses her previous mind, and Paul is still yelling at her.
Something to hope for.
That's not hope!
Paul stops talking things out when he drinks the water too. A few convos with Chani might have been smart. No matter how you draw it up, these two in specific were much less compelling after drinking the water of life. At least they weren't as bad as some other characters though. You're not ready for this. One-dimensional characters can plague franchises of this scale. And there were a ton. The most obvious example? Stilgar. God damn it, man. I'm so mad that I hate this character. The fact that they wasted Javier Bardem, his character sucks. His whole character is just gassing up the prophecy. This dude starts with a few cool scenes with High Council passing judgment on him for believing in Paul. But of course, they never explore that. He's just able to cruise to the top, giving the water of life to Jessica, and then dropping to his knees, wanting to sacrifice himself for Paul. Stilgar is a terrible character who is purely a prophecy hype man. Similar to Jessica, they had chances to give him depth. Use the scenes of conflict with the younger generation, please. Sorry. I'm getting fired up here. Well, fuck, I'm not gonna cool down. Now I gotta talk about Chani's friend. Chani's friend was another great vehicle for exploring Fremen conflict that they never hopped into. She was the leader of the Lisan al-Gaib hate club, and she just slowly fades away until she's killed off. Rabin Harkonnen is a gimme for my point here. A man under immense pressure, but instead of seeing how he copes, he just conforms and rages all the time until he's humiliated by his brother. David Bautista cast as a dumb rage monster. I feel like I've seen that before. Hey, I should be happy. It's not as bad as what they did to Austin Butler. Yeah, some of you are probably going to the comments right now just to tell me how much you like Fade Rotha. And look, I'm not here to change your opinion. I respect that. He's a badass. For me, though, this guy is nothing but a scary swordsman with no other abilities besides cutting people up. There were chances to show off what type of Harkonnen he was, but no. They decided to tell and not show us his qualities. Really, they just use him as another Bene Gesserit pawn. They either cut or didn't film this scene with his hand going in the box. I really would have liked to see how he reacted to that. I guess I'll have to go read the books. Wasted character in my opinion. Some sick fighting skills though. I hate to say it, but Gurney also felt one-dimensional to me. Even saying this out loud, there's a part of me that loves the character, specifically I think because of the castings, but it's just not enough. With Gurney, they just glossed over how he escapes the capital. And of course, he suffers from the main problem that everyone else does. The chances they have to expand on his character, they choose not to. His shaky acceptance into the Fremen was barely explored, and his little revenge on the Harkonnens arc was, actually, I'll give him that one. I kind of like that.
For my Duke and my friends.
Chani is a character that has very different problems than these other ones. It is best exposed when looking at her and Paul's relationship. The two's romance starts strong, but it gets overtaken by prophecy drama. At the end, it purposefully lacked resolution, but I didn't mind that. My problem lies in Chani's inconsistency and lack of sense. First, she is introduced as a strong non-believer. She rejects Paul's mythical status and is part of a group that questions older Fremen traditions. But then her friends laugh at Paul, losing his mother to the water of life. How do they reject prophecy but still hold on to selective spiritual beliefs? Chani and Paul's relationship is set up nicely and grows over their time spent together in the desert. But they have some huge disconnects. As we know, Paul is constantly getting visions that will shape what his journey will be. He barely talks about or hints at how these visions affect him. All he has is some little facial expressions here and there. The only visions he discusses in detail with Chani are the ones telling him not to go south, which he does anyways. The disconnect continues with Chani being the only one in camp that doesn't believe in the Lisan al-Gaib at the end. She even spares important details of the prophecy to Paul. This is the lack of sense that I'm talking about. Part of the prophecy involves Desert Spring tears. Desert Spring is Chani's second name. So Chani knew she was going to be a huge component in the prophecy. Yet, as a non-believer, she plays into it? I get that a Bene Gesserit told her to cry, so she had to. But when you dislike the prophecy so much, wouldn't you mention that that's gonna happen to Paul to maybe try and stop it at the source? And fuck, after you follow the prophecy, and it works, how do you not believe it? Why are you still speaking out against him when you saw your tears bring him back to life as written. And again, Paul's motive never changed. Chani should have known from the beginning that he was going to play the Messiah role to the best of his ability, no matter what. Okay, now I need to give the film credit. The Ornithopter ground battle scene is incredible. The rotating legs, the machine gun-like attack, Hans Zimmer's score. Paul's massive speeches are well-written chess moves, perfectly performed as he leans into the Jesus role with precision. The fights are intense, visually gripping, and riddled with satisfying callbacks.
I recognize your footsteps, old man.
The Fade Ratha duels were a thing of beauty. Vladimir Harkonnen was not a thing of beauty, but very compelling. I even enjoyed the whole arc with the Emperor and his daughter. Maybe the fall off happened pretty quick for them, but I don't mind some setup characters here and there. The sheer scale of the war scenes and the cinematography, man. I will watch this movie probably a couple more times in my life. Dune Part 2 is a masterclass in visual storytelling, but I wish it didn't sacrifice character arcs and potential introspectives in favor of epic action and prophecy-driven spectacle. Paul's journey never truly evolves. His motivations remain the same, and his rise to power feels inevitable. Side characters fade into the background, and any potential conflicts, internal or otherwise, are utterly abandoned. The exploration of how certain events change characters is not explored. They just create rapid change or not. Oh, yeah, and Chani is stupid at times. This film is undeniably gorgeous, but character depth, a desert mirage. Stunning to look at, but you'll be thirsty for more. Just like I'm thirsty for that popcorn bucket, man. And with that, thank you for watching, Bruno. Specifically you, Bruno. And of course, to everyone else who clicked on this one, thank you. This was a very fun video to make, and I was very tempted to make a lot of different videos on the Oscar movies this year. If you disagree with any of the things I said in this video, or all of the things I said in this video, please drop it below in the comments so we can talk about it. One of the things I like the most about movies is the fact that it is not objective, and anybody can have their own opinions, so I would love to gain some more perspective and see what you guys think. If you want to hear any more of my voice, and also my sister's voice, please feel free to check out the Fresh Out the Film podcast. Finally got our mic quality dialed in, and we just did an episode on Captain America Brave New World, so yeah, feel free to check that one out. But yeah, I think that's it, so deuces.